smell it before you see anything. A warmth in the air, sweet, almost floral, but underneath it something else, something that makes your stomach clench before your brain catches up. You are standing in a room that smells like a garden left in the sun too long, like roses gone soft, like something beautiful that has already crossed the line. Your body knows what that smell means before you do. That animal part of your brain, the part that kept your ancestors alive, is firing right now. It is telling you to leave, and yet you cannot stop breathing it in. Here is what nobody tells you about that reaction. It is not just disgust, it is recognition. And the most expensive perfume in human history was built on exactly that feeling. The human body after death becomes a chemistry laboratory. The bacteria already living inside you, the ones that spent your whole life being kept in check, they are suddenly free. They begin breaking down fat and protein into compounds with names that sound almost poetic. Putrescine, cadaverine. These are real molecules. They are named for exactly what produces them. And in tiny, almost invisible concentrations, they occur naturally in living skin, in certain flowers, in aged cheese, in wine. Your nose does not experience them as death at low doses. It experiences them as alive, warm, animal, present. This is where the history becomes uncomfortable. Ancient perfumers knew something that took modern chemistry centuries to confirm. They did not have laboratories or mass spectrometers, but they had noses, and they had time, and they had a willingness to work with materials that would clear a modern room in seconds. One of those materials was called civet. It came from a gland near the tail of the civet cat. The secretion itself smells undiluted, like a biological emergency, sharp and fecal and alive in the worst possible way. Perfumers in Egypt, in ancient Persia, in the courts of the Renaissance Europe paid extraordinary sums for it, not despite what it smelled like raw, but because of what it did to everything around it. It made flowers smell more human. It made a scent last for days instead of hours. It created what perfumers called depth, that quality of a fragrance that makes you lean closer instead of pulling away. The same principle applied to ambergris, a waxy substance produced in the gut of sperm whales, expelled into the ocean and found washed up on beaches after years of floating in open water. Raw ambergris smells like the sea and something rotting beneath it. Aged ambergris, after years of sun and salt, becomes something almost transcendent, sweet, earthy, warm in a way that smells like skin, not like ocean. Ancient traders did not know the chemistry, they just knew it worked. But the most extreme case, the one that collapses the line between reverence and horror, comes from a practice documented in early European apothecary records. Certain preparers worked with the rendered fat of human cadavers, not from cruelty, from a genuine belief that human origin materials carried a vital essence, a warmth that animal fats simply could not replicate. This fat, blended with botanical oils and left to absorb floral matter through a process called enfleurage, was considered a base of unusual power. The flowers pressed into that fat gave up their scent molecules into it completely, the way they would into any fatty medium. The origin of the fat was almost beside the point to the people making it. Almost. Because they also believed, and this is the part that does not dissolve when you apply modern logic to it, that the person mattered. that a body which had lived a particular kind of life left something behind in its chemistry, something that could be captured. They were not entirely wrong. Stress hormones alter the chemical composition of fat tissue. Diet changes the fatty acid profile of stored body fat. The life a person lived is written molecularly in what they leave behind. Ancient perfumers sensed this without being able to explain it. They were doing intuitive biochemistry in rooms that smelled like the end of the world. Here is what that means for every bottle on a perfume counter today. The animalistic warmth you find in high-end fragrance, that quality that makes a scent feel like it belongs on skin rather than in a laboratory, is a direct descendant of this tradition. Modern perfumers synthesize those molecules now, synthetic musks and lab-created civet replacements, clean versions of a very unclean history. But the reason those molecules work, the reason your brain responds to them the way it does, has not changed at all. You are still responding to death made beautiful. You always were.